Hello and welcome to today's workshop. We're here to discuss how to obtain strong letters of recommendation for your graduate school applications. My name is Magdalena Barrera. I'm a professor of Chicana and Chicano Studies and a former faculty fellow at the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center, aka the Centro, who's sponsoring this workshop. We're really glad that you're making time for this session. There's going to be three main parts to today's workshop. First, we'll go over the steps you need to take before you need a letter of recommendation. Next, we'll discuss how to reflect on who is in your network of references. And finally, we'll discuss how best to work with your letter writers, how to approach them, what info to share with them, and when to follow up with them. And then we'll close out this session. So let's jump right in. One of the best things you can do for yourself is give your faculty a chance to get to know you before you ever need a letter of recommendation from them. And there's a few ways to do this. First, you can put your best effort into classes and push yourself to participate regularly. You can attend office hours, asking follow-up questions outside of class, getting help on your assignments, and even just talking with them about your interests. You can even just stop by to say hello. Most faculty would really love a friendly visit. You can sign up for Centro's student faculty dinners. This is a really low pressure way of practicing how to talk with faculty and meet with them outside of class. And this is key, stay in touch with your faculty after the semester ends and after you graduate. This can be done in a couple of ways. You can continue visiting them in office hours and tell them about your current classes in a following semester. You could send them an email every few months letting them know what you're up to. It's a good idea to stay on their radar and continue cultivating a connection with them. These things are important because the reality is that professors remember not who got an A in their classes, but instead who put in the strongest effort. And it's hard for us to know all the effort you put in unless you come and talk to us about it. So the bottom line is, please get to know your faculty. The next step is to reflect on your network of potential references. And how can you do that? Well, Professor Bree Grillo-Hill, biology professor at SJSU, has created a really helpful worksheet to walk you through that process. And let me show you how this works. You begin by listing the program or job that you're applying to. Then you identify important characteristics from the program website or the job description, asking yourself, what makes a strong applicant for this opportunity? What kind of training or qualification should they have? Next, reflect on classes that you've taken or maybe work experiences you've had that are aligned with those characteristics. This step is helping you target who to ask for a letter of recommendation. For example, perhaps you're interested in applying for a graduate program in social work and you took classes that taught you about the issues or populations you want to work with as a social worker. Well, who taught those classes? Those could be ideal professors to ask. Finally, you look at how many references or letters you need. Then you look at who among the people on your list are most familiar with how you match up to those ideal characteristics you identified. And those are the people whom you approach first. Look up their email addresses and office hours info. Make a note of it so you know how to contact them. Once you have identified potential recommenders, you should set up a meeting to ask them to write a letter for you. You should have a face-to-face conversation about your goals, your career aspirations, and the programs or jobs that you're applying to. And then you have to take a deep breath and ask the most important question, which is, can you please provide me with a strong letter of recommendation? This question is important because you want your letters to be strong. Sometimes a student from the past will ask me for a letter because they liked my class and felt very comfortable around me. But if they never really talked to me outside of class and haven't stayed in touch with me, I might have nice memories of them, but I really don't know enough about them to write a really outstanding letter. I will usually be honest and tell them so. It's really hard to say, but I want to be upfront because they deserve a strong letter. Admissions committee members read so many letters, it is obvious when a letter is only vague or lukewarm about an applicant. So make sure you ask this question. Can you write me a strong letter of recommendation? Once they have agreed to write a letter for you, then share the following info via email. The names of the programs or jobs you're applying for with links, an explanation of why you're applying for this particular program or position. Give them a list of classes that you took with them and how those classes influenced you. You can also attach assignments that you completed in that class to help them remember the work that you did with them. And again, tell them what you've been up to since you were their student. Also, don't forget to include your unofficial transcripts, an up-to-date CV or resume, and finally, drafts of your application documents, such as the cover letter, a research statement, a personal statement, or whatever materials are required as part of your overall application. If you're applying to several graduate programs, you can help your letter writer stay organized by giving them a table that lists the following: the university and program names with links to the websites, submission instructions and deadlines, contact info for the program, and if the application asks for anything in particular that you want them to highlight in your letter, then include that in that table. As the deadline applications for your applications approach, you should follow up by email, always remembering to be polite, respectful, and persistent. You can send them reminder emails a month out, then at 2 weeks, and then at 1 week before the deadline. This is important because professors are really busy and you want to make sure that your letter doesn't slip through the cracks. And then finally, a thank you email or even a handwritten note is never a bad idea to show your appreciation for the time they took to support you. And that's how you do it. In closing, I'd like to encourage you to make sure to watch other videos in this series about applying to grad school. And in the meantime, if you have follow-up questions or want specific advice, then contact me. I can be reached via email at magdalena.barrera@sjsu.edu, and you can also book an office hours appointment with me at barrera.youcanbook.me. Thank you, and remember, you're not alone on this journey, and you've got a team of folks at Centro who are here and happy to help you. See you next time.